for this one today, as I said at the start of the intro, we're going over the waters, and I get dead excited when I float over to the waters, to our friends in the States. And this guest today, I've got to be honest, I've been pestering her for so long, and I'm mega excited to welcome on to the How to Cut It podcast, Presley Poe. Welcome along, Presley. We are excited to be talking to you. Yeah, I think you've been dashing around, haven't you? Even today, I think you've just got back from, remind us where you've been?
ABS Chicago. So American Beauty Show in Chicago.
And how was that for you?
It was really good. It was small and almost awkward, but just because we haven't done it in so long. But it was also just really nice to be around hairdressers excited for education.
Do you know, that is mad. It's funny you just said it was awkward, actually, because I went to a hair awards here in the UK in London on last Monday, and it was the first time that our industry had effectively gone out there and sort of been around people again. And I actually felt a bit awkward at the start because it was all just a bit strange again.
It's kind of that feeling like, what do I do with my hands? Sorry, my very cute dog. Chip, you cannot. Okay, listen, homie. Okay, you're going to have to get in one of your very comfortable
So for
beds.
our listeners not watching this, I'll just let you know that we've got Presley's gorgeous dog who's in on the camera scene, Chip, who's going to be coming in quite regularly to the show.
Go relax in one of your beds.
Hey,
Okay. Nope.
Chip,
He thinks
you
he's
can
sassy.
be part of it. So it was good.
there.
It was, it just all feels a bit awkward getting out there again and being around people. But it's cool, isn't it? Just to get educating in front of people.
Yeah, it was like, so I got in, and then it was late the night before, and then I had the first presentation the next day. So I didn't even get to get acclimated or anything. I was just like, bam, like on the stage. I was like, hello, nice to be here. This is weird. I hope not. I don't know. Let's just do this. Like,
because let's be fair, education is a big part of who you are.
It is a very big part of who I am. I think like that I always identify as an educator first, but there's like this like triad relationship that happens of like I'm an educator, an artist, and a stylist. So, but I always put it in like that order, but if all three of them didn't coexist, then I couldn't have the other two, is how I kind of look at it.
No, I kind of get that completely. You need all of those things to be that educator, I guess. What's your take on education right now?
What do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
What's your take on the world of hair education? Yeah, because it's become the buzzword in our industry, isn't it? I mean, I've got to be honest. You know, when I was sort of starting out, I felt like it was Sassoons or Sorby, and that was kind of where you got your education from or your brand.
Yeah,
but now there's so many independent educators.
Yeah, micro educators. Yeah, I think online education has taken a huge leap, especially during COVID. That was something for me, like, I was never good at doing anything technology-wise in general. And then we were kind of forced into this two-dimensional learning immersion, and it was really difficult at first, but now I'm doing a lot of online education, and I kind of love it.
How did you react when the pandemic came about? Because I'm guessing pre-pandemic that your education was in classes.
Yes, lots of traveling. So before the pandemic, I was traveling about 12 to 16 days a month, and then working behind the chair. Basically, I was working 28 days a month. For 2 years, I did that. And then the pandemic hit, and it's just like, what do I do with my hands? So it just instantly switched over to online education, and that was tricky, but it was like growth, you know. It's always like difficult and painful, but good in the end. So it really helped to propel me forward, and now I'm traveling about 9 days a month, and utilizing my own space to do in-person education. So
you said about technology as well. You wasn't particularly, naturally technology was something that really grabbed you, but you've got Pose Painters, which is an online academy.
Yeah. So Pose Painters is right now It's an online education source for things that I just want to do. But as soon as January hits, it's going to be a 12-month academy, and I'm going to go over my 20 years of experience every single month. And I really cannot wait for that. It's going to be really cool. Yeah, right now it's just like...
Yeah, well, do you know what? I'd love to go a bit more into that, because there's some pretty cool stuff that you've already got on there, and yeah, maybe just fill us in a bit more, and some of our listeners could be dead keen on coming on and learning about that with you. But what I'm always keen to know, right, that I look into your life and it looks super sexy, super gorgeous in the world of social, and you're a popular name in the world of hairdressing. But I'm curious about the stories that sometimes gets you to where you are today. Here we are, what I don't even know what month we are. We're September 2021. I mean, how would you best describe your journey in the industry, and, you know, what's it been like?
You know, it really kind of has been magical. Like, it's not glamorous, but I'm around a lot of glamour, you know, like, I try to be really authentic, and like, I don't stage things or post things. I post really bad angles of myself all the time. I'm like, I don't even know what happened to that part of my body, but here you go. But yeah, it's like, I think people view what we do as this really glamorous thing. And the truth of the matter is, you're waking up at like 5 a.m. and trying to get a workout in, and you're doing like 14-hour days and 28-day a month work periods and all these things. But I feel like for me, it's my child, that like a kid, parenting never stops. And education is kind of like having thousands of little kids that you want to nurture and help grow and feed them and fuel them. And there's just something really overwhelmingly gratifying about it. Like, to see the light bulbs go off for people is kind of everything. Like, I live for those moments.
I guess that's why it draws so many people into education, isn't it? I think to just share something. I know, again, from a podcast point of view, I love it when people just reach out and they say, hey, I love that. You really, you know, your guest inspired me. And that, I guess, is just those moments that we just probably are people pleasers ultimately is what we are.
You know, I kind of had to stop with the people pleasing. I was like, I can't please everyone. But there's this thing that I think, you know, confidence is something to me of just like doing you for exactly who you are and giving what you have freely to people. I think that it's very attractive to people. Like, they just navigate towards it, you know? And I think, like, not to discourage against the education community, but I think that there's this ideal kind of surrounding independent education. So I think, like, you know, there's this, whenever people become hairdressers, oftentimes they feel like they're going to make a lot of money really quickly. And then they quickly realize how difficult it is. And they're like, oh, snap. And then we have online education. And so hairdressers, and I'm like, bless them. Anyone, I want to put this forward. Anyone who has anything to share, please do it. But understand that when you are trying to monetize your education, it is a difficult and long road. I was talking to a good friend of mine who was looking to monetize their education and start making their money as an educator and not a stylist, like moving through our industry. And she didn't want to stop cussing. And she's like, I just don't want to censor myself. I want to be able to speak freely and share my education. I said, well, here's the deal. If that's what the road that you want to go down, know that most companies can't have that. Like, corporations cannot support that. Anything that's not PC, and there's like a million little things that like you just can't do when you work for a corporation. But if you're willing to give that up, companies will hire you And then you have an army of people behind you. So you're educating through a company and the army of that company. But then when you go into your own education, you're building your own army. So you have to like curate this following of people who believe in you and respect you and what you have to say. And then they're willing to pay for it.
And who are those people that you build, and how do you build them?
I don't know.
Because, you know, you're Presley Poe. You look at your Instagram. I can't remember how many, but there's a lot of followers. Was it about 154,000 followers? A lot of people will just look at that and say, it's around that sort of number, I'm sure, the last time.
Yeah.
I stand corrected, so please correct me, anybody, if I've got that wrong. They'll be having a look at it.
157, but I really don't. I'm like,
150. No, let's get it right. 157.
Not a huge number.
But it's, you know, when you have that kind of following, Presley, then people are going to be looking and saying, well, actually, you know, there's a lot of interest in you and obviously your education. Why is it that people are so interested in you?
I think, you know, over the years, I just have made it a mission to be authentic. Like, I don't curate information that goes on my page. I mean, I guess we all do in a way, right? But like, I show when I redo something. I show like, you know, my quote unquote fails or mishaps. And I think I'm just really for the hairdresser. And I'm super pro client too. Like, so I think that people maybe are just attracted to the fact that I really don't see myself as above anyone, but genuinely view myself as being with them.